We're continuing our discussion with the 7 deadly sins. And I think if you went and polled people and asked them which sin was deadliest, most people wouldn't put pride at the top. They would put the sin of lust. Why is this? Well, I think partly it's because our culture really struggles with that sin right now. I think it's also because lust is a little bit more outward and visible to us than some of the more inward sins like pride or envy. But you might be interested to know that most theologians put lust, along with avarice and gluttony, at the other end of the spectrum of deadly sins. The lower end. Now, that's not to say this sin isn't deadly, and I want to emphasize this. The sin of lust is deadly. It's destructive, both in this life and in the next, and it's addictive. But it's at the other end of the spectrum because, like avarice and gluttony, it's a disordered love of something good. So lust is that disordered love for, or desire for, sex. It really is the misuse of another, of making someone an object for our sexual pleasure. You know, sex is good. Sexual pleasure is good. God created it and gave it to us as a gift. There's nothing wrong with it, unless it's not in its proper place. So sex becomes a sin not because it's dirty or bad, but when it's not in its proper place, namely the place of a committed relationship in front of God and the church, in the sacrament of marriage. And so when we look at the sin of lust, how am I treating those around me? Do I treat people as objects for my sexual pleasure, for my enjoyment? Do I tempt others to treat me that way by the way I act, by the way I talk, or by the way I dress? One of the gravest sins with the sin of lust is pornography. Pornography is so destructive to our relationships and to ourselves. And if you struggle with this addiction, with this temptation, know that you're not alone. 64% of self-identified Christian men and 15% of self-identified Christian women struggle with this temptation, and they view pornography once a month, statistics say. But this is a sin, and it can really rot our spiritual lives. So if you struggle with this, know it's addictive, and know that you're not alone. Seek out accountability partners, or seek out a group like Covenant Eyes that can really help you with this temptation. The devil's prowling, and the devil knows that our flesh is weak. And so this week, let's act chastely. Even married people are called to live chastity, to treat their spouse not as an object of sexual pleasure, but as a person that deserves to be honored and loved. So this week, let's pray to God to help us with these temptations that are so difficult and so enslaving to us. Run to God, because only He can help us in this battle against sin. And that's a little theology in 3 minutes. Hey friends, exciting news for you. My very first book is available from Ave Maria Press. It's called Opening the Holy Door, and it's scriptural reflections on the virtue of hope. It's the perfect way to celebrate this Jubilee year, as together we are pilgrims of hope. You can find the link in the description below, or go to joanwatson.faith to order your copy today.